You want to call the Lakers drafting Bronny James nepotism? Okay, fine. Let's talk about nepotism. Because first of all, LeBron James, who's given so much to the NBA, if this was the gift that he got back, so be it. And nepotism runs rampant in every area of sports. And I'm going to give you a list of so many examples your eyes are going to spin. But let's start with the definition of nepotism. It is the practice amongst people with power or influence to favor friends, relatives, or associates, especially by giving them jobs. So maybe it's just nepotism? We don't know. Is he going to pan out in the NBA? We shall see. And I get that for some people, nepotism is always injustice, but this is not the president putting his son-in-law in charge of peace in the Middle East. It's the 55th pick in the second round of the NBA draft. What's at stake isn't democracy. It's the 15th roster spot on an NBA team that likely plays at the most 10 guys. So let's calm down with the outrage. But to others, nepotism is the privilege that greatness provides. Man, forget greatness. Any foothold at all can open the floodgates for nepotism. Remember when your homie in high school got that job you wanted? Nepotism wasn't so bad when they used their influence to get you a shift. But seriously, why are we here clutching pearls at the idea that LeBron James paved the way for a roster spot for his son? Getting your kid a gig is as common in sports as it is anywhere in society. Where was the outrage when the Patriots went from Steven Belichick running around the facility as a high schooler to ending up on the defensive staff? Can we talk about how Kyle Shanahan got his start? Oh, you don't think Mike called in a favor to get him a GA job or quality control? Come on, man. Or how about Andy Reid? He's got more than one of his sons on the Kansas City Chiefs staff. But you might be saying to yourself, George, there's a difference between coaching and playing. All right, cool. How about the ownership? Look at the Dallas Cowboys. Literally 4 Joneses up in the front office. Oh, George, but that's different. He owns the team. Go back to the definition of nepotism. Makes it very clear. That is what it is. Look at the owner of the Houston Rockets, Tillman Fertitta. His sons in the front office. I bet you the Steinbrenners, Hal and Hank, that good old George, he made sure his sons worked it up the hard way, getting no advantage, doing the same exact thing anybody would do to get a job in that company. Absolutely not. And this is no knock against it, because if I were in that situation, I'm doing the same thing for the Wrighster kids, and you would too. But now how about on the playing court? Both of Giannis's brothers have rings right now. And Thanasis Antetokounmpo has been sitting on the Milwaukee Bucks bench for 5 years and is in zero danger of losing his roster spot despite being over 30 and halfway through rehabbing an Achilles tear. I'm sure Buddy Ryan never helped Rex and Rob get a job or an opportunity. How about Lane Kiffin? Of course, Monty Kiffin, his dad, legendary defensive coordinator, that couldn't have helped at all getting jobs. Let's talk about broadcasters. How about Chris Collinsworth and his son Jack on NBC? Mike Golick and Mike Golick Jr. Oh, do you think that Mike Golick Jr. just finished college and was able to get a job that easily on ESPN without the help of his dad? Of course he wasn't. Do you think that Joe Buck would be where Joe Buck is as a legendary broadcaster if Jack didn't help him get in the door and, of course, teach him the ways along the way? Because here's the thing about nepotism, is that it can get you in the door. It cannot keep you in the door or prove that you are competent. That's why the Kyle Shanahans of the world, the Joe Bucks, the other coaches that have had success, and people in business that have had success, it is because they got a leg up, but then they worked hard, they were competent, and did their thing. And in one of the biggest nepotism examples in all of sports, Lawrence Stroll bought an entire F1 team the way his son Lance could get a seat, because there was no chance he was getting it any other way. How about one of the worst offensive coordinators in the last couple of years in college football, Brian Ferentz? His dad, Kirk Ferentz, employed him and then wouldn't even fire him when he was costing the team games. So much so that the school had to get involved so he would be gone. How about the Spanos family down in San Diego? Do you think that them kids are running that organization well? No, not so much. Or how about UConn, who just went back-to-back with Dan Hurley's son, Andrew, getting victory cigar minutes on 33 different occasions? Face it, if you're the face of the league and still producing at a top 10 level, plus you have the leverage of having the ability to opt out of your contract and wanting to play alongside your son has been the league's worst kept secret for going on 3 years, it would have been stupid for the Lakers not to use a pick on Bronny. In fact, it was the smart move, no matter how many people it pissed off. And if Clutch had let it leak that Bronny was the key to LeBron, no matter who drafted him, that kid might have gone top 10. The nice thing for everybody here, though, is that both the anti-nepotism haters and the people who see it as a smart move were going to get to see who's right. The court is going to tell the truth. If Bronny can't play, it won't make the decision any less smart, but you'll at least be justified about being a hater. And there's no shade here. When I'm hating and proven right, it feels sensational, I will tell you. But what if the kid that was raised playing against NBA talent, who earned multiple NBA projections and scouting marks for his play at Sierra Canyon, and then suffered a heart attack, ends up getting back on track and finding his footing in the league? What if we have a 40-inch vertical and a penchant for perimeter defense gives him a similar path to meaningful minutes? You don't think a 6'2" defensive guard can hang in the league? Tell that to Patrick Beverley. But like I said, we will find out the truth eventually. And while I'm not going to change my mind on nepotism, I'll let you dunk on me for thinking that LeBron James Jr. could hang in the league. But if he ends up having a career of any length at all after his dad leaves the league, you better be ready to take your punishment and stand in the lane, because I'm coming through like Vince Carter in the Olympics if that happens, and bam, I'm dunking on your ass. Let that sink in.